Alright, welcome in. I'm the Kodiak, and today I'm here to talk about why Deshaun Watson's play has fallen off a cliff from when he was in Houston to now in Cleveland, and why he went from a bona fide top 5 quarterback in the sport to basically being replacement level. So, leave a like if you enjoy it, or as I always say, you can wait until the very end and hopefully I'll have earned it. And make sure to subscribe. I'll be making videos like this all off season long. I'm doing the quarterbacks now. It's about to be draft season, and I'll be making videos primarily about prospects. So let's get right into it. Deshaun Watson went from, as I said, being a bona fide top 5 quarterback in the sport, indisputable, to being actively bad. He went from being an elite quarterback in Houston who could make any throw, one who was absolutely electric, one who could deal with any other quarterback, and he was an incredible player. Now, the first year he signed his big extension, Houston became an absolute mess under Bill O'Brien and Jack Esterby. They got absolutely robbed for DeAndre Hopkins, and they went from making the divisional round and blowing a 24-0 lead against Kansas City to finishing 4-12 the next year. And Deshaun Watson, now on Cleveland, has been actively bad, despite the Browns having an uber talented roster. The first year was kind of a wash because when you're out of football for a while and you don't get live reps, it can take a while to adjust. But there was legitimately no excuse this past year. Yeah, Chubb was injured, which hurt the entire offense. It hurt the building too because he's a very respected guy. But Joe Flacco seemed to give them a spark that Deshaun Watson could not. And over the past 2 seasons, Deshaun Watson is 36th in the entire NFL in passer rating. And Matt Ryan is 35th, and 37th is Mac Jones. And guess who's higher? Oh yeah, Baker Mayfield. The Browns this year were 4-1 with Deshaun Watson as their starting quarterback, but the wins were not impressive at all. Week 1, they beat the brakes off of injured Joe Burrow, who should not have been out there, plain and simple, due to the calf injury. Then their next wins with Watson were against Tennessee, where Tannehill threw for 100 yards, Arizona, who had Clayton Tune at quarterback, and the comeback win against Baltimore. I mean, I guess that was an impressive win, but either way, whether you like Watson or not, and I don't think you can based on everything that's happened, whether you think he will succeed or not, when I watch him, he just doesn't have the same confidence that he once did when he was with Houston. I used to love watching him as a player, but it feels like to me he's still mentally trying to get over the hump of being one of the most hated people in professional sports. He has to work out if the Browns want to succeed. They gave up 3 first-round picks to get him, as well as $250 million guaranteed. The reason I'm perplexed is because, yes, I do believe he's rusty, but along with mentally being affected by everything off the field, not to say he doesn't deserve it, he 100% does, but Joe Flacco was literally sitting on his couch in November, and he came off the couch for a playoff run, and he seemed to not have much rust despite the fact that he's 10 years older. He wasn't like that great of a quarterback or anything like that, but he was just a cog in a functional machine, and that's all the Browns needed at the time. Watson actively hampered the team. He looked completely washed. He lost a lot of athleticism, so he can't really play the hero ball routine. His killer instinct and competitive edge went out the window the minute he became the league villain. He's sat more than he's played the past 3 years. His hold the rock forever hero ball routine doesn't work anymore because he's lost a lot of athleticism. But the saddest part about Cleveland is that the Browns front office finally got their best quarterback in years, despite not being elite, in Baker Mayfield. And I'm a believer that stability within organizations, whenever people argue for it, is a completely overrated, and I don't know, I just don't believe in that concept. But for one that's bad as Cleveland has been over the past 20 years, it could have helped to keep Baker Mayfield around. Now, I didn't foresee Baker Mayfield's breakout in Tampa this past year, and I don't think anyone with a straight face could have told you that he was going to have the season that he did. Even though I've always loved Baker, he was my favorite quarterback coming into the 2018 draft. I loved him. He was a great guy, or at least I thought so. A great guy for what the Browns were looking for at the time, especially after going 0-16. But if he or Stefanski would have shut himself down in 2021 when he got injured, when his shoulder got hurt, he might still be on the team. But for the Browns, they avoided a potential Daniel Jones contract where you're paying the guy for not that stellar of production and quarterback play. But is that worse than paying a worse quarterback more than $10 million? But is that worse than paying a worse quarterback $10 million per year with Deshaun Watson and keeping 3 first-round picks? I don't know. But Deshaun Watson just simply does not have the same juice he once had. I once saw a quarterback who could make any big-time throw, and one who was fearless, and one who could always get it done in the final drive of the game if he had proper help around him. That being said, Stefanski, who is one of the best coaches in the league now, is that enough to help Deshaun Watson? Not only that, but having the defensive player of the year in the same locker room, a solid run game, and are Amari Cooper and David Njoku not enough? Now, I'll admit they don't really have solid skill guys outside of those two, and Chubb, who got injured, because Ford was extremely inefficient as a runner. Tillman's still a developmental piece, but this is a quarterback who just isn't confident right now. And I don't know the reasoning for that other than, he was away from the game for a long time, and mentally he's still trying to adjust to being one of the most hated people in the NFL. So I don't know. That does it for me, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.